So welcome back to the channel. For the last case for this week of Fair Friday, we are going to be covering sadly another case out of North Carolina. I have nothing personally against North Carolina. It's just that the last time that I think I've covered a case out of North Carolina, it was also a child death case. So I don't know what they have going on there. I don't know if it's just coincidence. Of course, I've been to North Carolina. At least the places that I've been to. I haven't been to like the entire state, but I've been like to some cities, and they are nice. But it's just like it's sad to see that certain states, every time I go to them, it's always a child that dies. But anyway, unlike the other case, this case apparently was a lot more well known. Did reach national, had actual national coverage. So definitely, if you remember, this happened back in 2009. As a refresher, if anyone remembers, like when you first heard about it, how old were you? Definitely let me know. And I'm gonna quit my rambling and I'm gonna jump right into it. So we're actually gonna start off with Shaniya. So Shaniya Nicole Davis was born on June 14, 2004 in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Her hobbies had included playing with Barbie dolls, playing outside, and dressing up, as typical young girls do. She was living with her father, Bradley, and his sister, so Shaniya's aunt, because that's Bradley's sister, so her father's sister, aunt, until about 2009, because the biological mother all of a sudden decided she wanted to help take care of Shaniya. Even though Carrie apparently had strongly disagreed to this, but Bradley thought that she was ready. And so Antoniette Davis, who is Shaniya's mother, she was born July 3rd, 1984. So September 2009, Shaniya starts staying with Antoniette, and apparently she has a 7-year-old brother named Carl. Obviously he's not 7 anymore, but he's 7 at the time this happens. And they're staying in a trailer with Antoinette's sister Brenda, so also, I guess, her aunt. And Brenda, her boyfriend, and the kids, they got together. They're in the back, while Antoinette, Carl, and Shaniya are all in the front of the trailer. So apparently the Antoinette's sister, Brenda, apparently had an ex. There was one source that said that that's actually Antoinette's ex, but apparently he knows the family somehow. And so there's this man named Mario McNeil, but he goes by Mono. And apparently he was born on April 30th, 1980. But anyway, he knows them somehow, and he knows how to get into the trailer. That's important for later, obviously. And so what is somewhat known is that apparently Antoinette owed Mario $200. There were some people saying it was for a drug debt. There were other people saying that paid for a hotel room for when Antoinette and her kids were homeless, and he basically was helping them out on the condition she paid him back. And there were other people saying that $200 was for the deposit to move into the trailer. So of course, at the time of the story, he is staying with a woman named April, and apparently they have an 18-month-old child together. But despite that, apparently there was one night where apparently he's drunk, and he's texting all the women in his phone. He invites this woman named Tyson McLean, and apparently she invites him to come over, but by the time he came over, she was already asleep. And apparently before this, he had texted Brenda, because that is his ex, even though she's already with somebody else. And so Brenda's phone's off, so obviously she ain't gonna answer. He texts Brenda again. Again, the phone apparently is still off, so obviously she's not gonna answer. Now, around between 5 and 5:30, apparently Brenda and her boyfriend heard it sounded like somebody was trying to break into the trailer in the front. But apparently the noise eventually stopped sometimes, so they just went back to sleep. And then an hour and a half later, Antoinette came in the room crying, saying, "Hey, if anyone of y'all see Shaniya, I can't find her anywhere." And Antoinette would say that she would go around asking in other trailers, "Have y'all seen Shaniya? She's missing." Carl, the little 7-year-old boy, he would say that he did see Mono the night before. Brenda, of course, calls and texts Mono, tries to confirm whether or not it's true. She gets the boyfriend to go call April. April says he's not with me, so now they're trying to figure out where the hell's Mono at. So then Brenda and the boyfriend, apparently they found feces that were on the stairs that weren't there before. And apparently there was also yellow writing. Didn't say if the yellow writing was from pee, but that's my mind immediately assumed, because what else would it be? At 6:52, Antoinette finally calls 911. Police shows up 10 minutes later. So by the time police got there, Antoinette had already had some water, boiling on the stove, because she had poured boiling hot water on the feces, pretty much destroying some evidence, which that already looks suspicious on you, considering you're the mother of this person that's missing. And Unit 1119 in the trailers that they're staying at, they find a blanket that Antoinette says is hers. The blanket also has feces on it. So now the police are trying to question people at the scene. see what they get out of them. Carl says that he did see Shaniya there, but he does not recall her leaving. and that Brenda and Antoinette were constantly texting. Didn't know who they were texting at the time, so it was pretty hard to like even question them since they were texting. We're gonna backtrack a little bit to where Mono apparently was at, because there's video surveillance proving that this happened. So Mono apparently had arrived at the Comfort Inn and Suites in Sanford, North Carolina, which apparently is about an hour away from Fayetteville, North Carolina, where our story takes place, at about 6 a.m. Which I didn't even know you could check in that early, because normally most places you can't even check in until like 3 p.m., maybe 4. So anyway, he's able to check in somehow like 6 a.m. He's saying he's here as like a pit stop, and he has to take his daughter up to Virginia to his mother, even though he checked in like alone. So he checks in, he's put in room 201. He goes back to the car sometime like 7:16, this is still in the morning, to get Shaniya, wrap her up in a blanket, take her up to the room. He would go get breakfast from the hotel breakfast area alone. So, obviously some hotels, they go with that complimentary breakfast, and I guess this Comfort Inn was one of them. At 7:34, he's going out the side door of the hotel. He then puts Shaniya in like the back right seat of the car, and he gets in the car while he's smoking in said car. He then goes to the front, asks for his deposit back, because most the nicer hotels, you gotta put down a deposit in case you break something, And so he got his deposit back apparently after signing a receipt, because he must have paid in cash. Because if you put out a deposit by like card, you normally get that back after like 2 to 3 business days, depending on like how things go. And so of course, obviously once somebody checks out of a room, they got to send the housekeeper up there to clean it, so that way the next person, whoever puts in that room, hopefully their room is clean and it's not just like left a mess. So the housekeeper goes in and she finds small bags of cocaine, which she obviously brings down to the front desk, like, hey, whoever was here last, they left some cocaine. And so Mono finally texts Brenda, who apparently she had texted like 6:50 something, and he texted her like 7:49 just saying hey. And then from there, apparently they're texting back and forth now that she's finally got an answer out of him. So then, of course, by this point, an Amber Alert is an issue for Shaniya, as Amber Alerts are for, because, she's a child, so obviously there's going to be an Amber Alert for her. The hotel, they called the hotline number apparently that was on the Amber Alert, and the sheets hadn't been changed, luckily. However, the trash had sadly been taken out, apparently by Mono, and there was a towel that was missing. So police go get Mono's phone number from his mom, who apparently they give his phone number to the FBI, and then they go look at his cell phone data. So at this point, after the Amber Alert's been issued and everything, this is where Brenda decides she's going to tell, okay, Carl saw Mono in their trailer allegedly the night before. See if that trying to helps out. She also adds in that she saw Antoinette talking to Mono at her aunt's house, and Antoinette obviously would deny this. So it wasn't until the night of November 12th where Brenda would finally turn in her phone to the police and told them about the messages between her and Mono. So Mono does eventually get found and taken into the station. His car is eventually searched and going to processing now that we believe actual crime has happened. He would use his phone to text during breaks. So then, of course, he winds up denying that he even went to the trailer on the 10th. Or that he even, met Shaniya or even knew who she was. Pretty much trying to deny everything. He even denies that he even left the city. It was never even in Sanford. He is shown, apparently, a surveillance photo of him at the hotel, showing that, hey, we know you were at this hotel. And then he tries to, deny it. When it shows, obviously, you got to check in with ID to prove that, you over 18 and stuff. He's like, well, I lost my ID, and then maybe somebody let me use my ID. So then he does eventually admit that, yes, I was at the hotel with Shaniya. So then he would claim that he got a message from Brenda saying that she would tell him, hey, come pick Shaniya from off the porch. Come get Shaniya from off the porch. And apparently he did. Then he went to the hotel room, checked in with her. That's where he did cocaine. And that he was told to wait to drop her off with some people that were driving a gray Nissan Maxima. And apparently the plan was to kill Shaniya. So, of course, the texts are checked because, of course, they have already confiscated Brenda's phone by this point. So we can at least check to see if she said it. And, of course, Brenda never said those things. So, obviously, Mono's lying. While waiting for the police to come back, apparently it's seen that he sticks a key that apparently he has into an electrical socket twice after making a cross. I don't know if it was a prayer cross like the Catholics do, or just a regular cross, And so apparently there was a little shock, but it didn't do no serious damage, unfortunately. So then after this, Mono's pretty much arrested on charges of kidnapping, because at least we can get you for that. That's a pretty serious charge. Antoinette would accuse her boyfriend Clarence, because apparently she was dating somebody, but he wasn't living with her. And so he gets arrested. And after we get the video surveillance from the hotel, it's pretty much confirmed that he wasn't even involved. This man is innocent. They let him go. So then Antoniette apparently breaks down for the police, admits that he only was supposed to have sex with Shaniya. This was supposed to lead to where it is, and that to cover that $200 debt that I told you about earlier. So then it is revealed that Antoniette is actually pregnant again at the time she's arrested. She is charged with human trafficking and is released on $51,000 bail. So then detectives get a call from what I assume is like Mono's attorney, basically telling them to look for a green porta potty on Highway 87. They then are told to look for places where people like to hunt between Spring Lake and Sanford, which is 2 cities in North Carolina. And then they are then told, look for places that hunters drop off deer remains after they've already killed them. So then on November 16th, around like 1 p.m., Shaniya's body is sadly found. Well, she's found, but unfortunately, I say sadly because she is deceased, okay? So she's found like under some logs and, of course, nearby deer remains, like the attorney has said. However, it took a while to like eventually get her body because they weren't trying to like damage like any. This is the scene where she is found, so they're not trying to destroy any potential evidence. So of course she's only wearing underwear and an adult sweatshirt, and it said that her cause of death was asphyxiation, and sadly she had been assaulted before she died. So Mono was charged with first-degree murder on November 19th, and apparently in the following year the police would announce that they did find like X-rated photos of a child in Mono's phone, but they weren't sure if this child was Shaniya. And so his attorney even had the audacity to say that, oh, well, since we told you where the body was, we shouldn't get the death penalty. So then, of course, Antoniette is soon figured out that she definitely is involved in this, so, she ain't innocent. So then she gets arrested again in, like, January 2010, so it's the year after the murders happened. So on July 6, 2011, Antoniette gets arrested again on charges of murder and human trafficking. Well, murder, obviously, you denied on that bond, but the other charges, which I guess the human trafficking, $1.5 million. We ain't got that. So, luckily she's going to stay in jail this time. So on April 8th, 2013, Mono was offered a deal to take life without parole or not get the death penalty, but he's like, no, I want to go to trial, see if I can get a short sentence. So on May 23rd, 2013, Mono was charged with first-degree murder, and apparently he still has all the charges, and somehow the only charge he didn't get was the sexual assault against Shaniya. Shaniya's biological father, Bradley, would sadly suffer from 2 collapsed lungs as from the stress of Shaniya's death. So he's still alive. He just was going through some serious health issues as a result of his daughter's death. So remember how I said Mono basically went to trial just thinking he was going to get a shorter sentence? Well, he got sentenced to death instead of just taking life in prison, like without parole. He gets sentenced to death and gets 705 to 866 months added on. Of course, he immediately appeals. He's still in jail to this day, thank God. And apparently, there are like 14 public infractions he's committed since he's been in jail, and 4 of those are sexual acts. So on October 18, 2013, Antoniette would finally get charged with first-degree murder. So Antoniette gets charged with second-degree murder, human trafficking, first-degree kidnapping, along with other charges. She basically gets sentenced to like 17 years in jail, and apparently she's eligible for like parole in like 4 years. So of course, obviously we got had a funeral now. We done found the body and everything. Apparently Shaquille O'Neal, the basketball player and the actor, he paid for the funeral after he found out about it on Nancy Grace, and apparently it touched him so much that he just had to help out whatever way he could. So he paid for the funeral, which is nice of him. The classmates that she had, because she was in kindergarten when this happened, apparently her kindergarten classmates were her honorary pallbearers. So they weren't carrying like the casket, obviously, because not only would they be too young to understand what the hell they even doing, a casket is like really heavy, even if it's like a small casket for a child. So they said we include the classmates in some way. So that was nice of them. Her older brother, so like same dad, different mom, so like half sibling. She had an older brother named Shavaz Lockhart, who sadly, he would also get murdered at the age of 20 on May 25th, 2017. And apparently he is buried next to Shaniya. The people that are believed to have done it, they have been caught, but I haven't found like an update on whether they've been sentenced or not. And of course, the sentencing does take a while, as it does with a lot of murder cases. So So like I said, very tragic case. National coverage due to like the outrage and how crazy it is that a woman was willing to sell her daughter pretty much to cover a debt as small as $200. And so yeah, definitely let me know what you think down below. I definitely have my opinions about this, but I want to hear everyone else's opinions. And so with that being said, I'll be reading your comments and I'll see you all next time. Bye.
So if I play dead, will you regret everything that you did, that you said? I don't think you understand what you're doing, and my heart's black and blue from the bruising. I feel like when I'm with you I'm losing. I feel like you think that this amusing, sitting there gaslighting and confusing. Was it me? Is it me? Am I deluded? I'm the one who's always sorry, the conclusion. Even though I offer all of the solutions, I wish you loved me like I love you, it's stupid. When I'm alone with you I never feel lucid. I wish I wasn't struck by Cupid. I wish when I first saw you I knew this. When I'm with you I feel so useless, I feel diluted, my heart's been wounded. Silhouettes of you are like a taunt, never really know